Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to our interview with Jason, the Gator Granado, an interview I'm very excited about subsequent to what was, Jason, nothing short of an incredible performance on Saturday night, man. And I know you did your interview in the ring, and I know you did a post-fight interview
Yep.
outside of the ring, but now we've had a couple days to let it digest. And man, I think we have a lot of questions for you. You know what I mean? I know I have a lot of questions for you, and I'm sure you have thoughts on the fight. But first and foremost, how are you doing today and how are you feeling today? Just 3 days out. It's 3 days out from that incredible fight.
Oh man, I feel good. Feel no injuries, ready to go back in. My legs were a little sore, but I did a little cold plunge today at local Forest Falls, got in some ice cold water, joined some time with the team, but other than that, good to go. I'm helping my guy Ryu for his fight this weekend, so
Yeah.
just normal.
Oh man, Ryu, and that's another guy, I would love to see back in the Lions, and he looked great the last time he fought for us, man. What's he got going on?
Dude, he's a beast, man. He brings volume every time, pressure every time. Kind of reminds me of myself when he fights in there. Just ruthless. That one time you got to see him fight for you, you saw that. It was
Yeah,
pretty nasty. And yeah, his whole family, man, they're all talented. His brother, really good boxer.
yeah.
That's like one of his main sparring partners. So I think it should be some good, easy work for my boy Ryu this weekend.
No, Ryu's got great boxing, man. But speaking of great boxing, man, there was great boxing. There was great kickboxing on display on Saturday night. Kind of take me to the beginning, right? When you found out you had this fight against Isaac De La Paz, at least for me, I thought this was a big fight. I thought this was a guy who could push you, which is something I've been desperately looking for because we haven't been able to get anyone at Fighters Rep under a kickboxing rule set, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get you out of that second round. I mean, you barely ever made it out the first round before this fight. You never did. You only made it to the second round one time and you finished the guy in the second round. So under the
Mm-hmm.
kickboxing rule set, where guys can't hold you, they can't clinch you too much, I just felt like you were just a guy who was very difficult to kind of take into those later rounds. Um, so tell me, what kind of went through your head when you found out you were fighting De La Paz? Did you see anything about him when it was announced? And now having fought him, what is your kind of opinion on the guy?
I only saw him one time before at like two fighters reps ago in February. It's the
Yeah.
only time I saw him. I fought in the same card as him. I didn't really watch his fight or anything, but that was the only fight I saw. I've just really heard from him, and I saw his record, and the kid rarely gets finished. He has a lot of fights. My teammates saw him fight literally last month, and
And he picked up a title in that fight.
yeah, he did. He did. I heard he got a good TKO too. So late in the fight too, fifth round TKO, digging deep, kind of just like me. So I knew it was going to be a tough, long fight, and we were preparing for that. We were preparing for that, and we really wanted that too.
Yeah.
Cody wanted to see me go to the fourth round or fifth round. Like he wanted to see me go the whole fight. He wants me to get as much experience as I can, and knocking people out in like a minute, less than a minute and a half. You don't really get too much, but he wanted to see me go to the fourth, and that was the plan the whole time, was just to go the distance if I needed to, and you know keep my gas under check.
And Cody's a great coach like that, man. He actually wants his guys to be challenged, which I appreciate a lot. I remember speaking to him about the David Fisher fight and him telling me, George, this is the fight I want for Jason. I want a technical guy for him. I want
Hmm.
somebody that can really, push him and test his technique. And so I found that to be very interesting. And I figured he would love this fight too because Isaac is a guy who is about your height, right? I mean, you guys were
Yeah.
basically the same height, long reach as well, great gas tank. I would say, he doesn't have the power that you have, but I think,
Yeah.
defensively, he's very sound, that he's got very good technique, and, he doesn't really seem to get too tired. Um, So I mean, having having gone through that fight, tell me about that fight, man. I want your thoughts on that fight because to me, from the outside looking in, I mean, that was a tremendous, tremendous fight, and it just looked like total war in there for 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's the best word to describe it was war. He was tough. I didn't expect him to be that tough, to be like knocked down, not only get up but keep charging, keep marching forward is was it was a little crazy. And not gonna lie, the third round when he got up, I kind of saw that he was kind of ready for a way out. Not really like kind of looking at the referee, not really wanting the referee to necessarily stop it, but like ready if he did stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And but then he just kept going forward and didn't stop the pace, and that was a little intimidating. And kind of like somewhere in the third round, I was thinking, all right, I'm gonna chill now because this is gonna probably go through five. But I dug deep for that one, man, and that was just a war. I heard like people saying it was the loudest in there. That during that fight, it was the loudest in there, and yeah, it was
It
a
was
war, man.
absolute madness, man. I don't know if you heard it. I mean, you were probably so in the thick of things. People were chanting, and I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put it up so you can see it, and then you can share it, do whatever you want with it. People
Yeah,
were chanting Gator, and then the other side started chanting Isaac, and then it went back to Gator again. I mean, it was like being at a college football game or a soccer
pretty
game or
sick.
something.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was like being at a soccer game in Europe. It was absolutely crazy the way the fans were chanting for you guys. And my wife or her sister, I think, has one of those iPhone watches, and it
Hmm.
told her to get up and leave because the decibel level was like loud,
The bomb was
So
about to go off or
right,
something.
right. So that's how loud and crazy it was in there, man. Let me ask you, you dropped him in the first round. Like I think it was the first round. It was very, it was very good, a lot of back and forth action. You drop him in the first round, he gets up, right? Second round he comes back. I want to say the second round was his best round of the fight. He probably had his best round in the second round. That's the only round he didn't get knocked down in, and he was really bringing it. And what surprised me, right? And you mentioned intimidating. What surprised me is the first knockdown in the third round. It was a heavy knockdown. I think you caught him, in between him throwing punches. You countered him with a big right
Mm.
hand right up the middle, like you always do. That right hand is deadly, by the way. He goes down. He goes down and he almost gets counted out. It's a long time before he gets up.
Yeah, it's long.
And like you, I'm thinking he's hurt, but somehow he finds a way to make it a dogfight again. Is that what surprised you? Because I thought he was ready to go after that one, but then I noticed, holy hell, like this guy's still coming at Jason like he doesn't even care what's going on here.
Yeah, that is exactly what surprised me. Like most people, they get knocked down and they'll get up, and it takes them a while to kind of get back in there again and get their head fully in there. They kind of need more time to recover, but his was just going forward. Not only was he getting up, but he was going forward after. And yeah, shout out Dela Paz, man. He's a tough opponent. He's my toughest opponent so far, and you know, I I I can't remember if I told him or not, but he's gonna be in 135. He's gonna be fighting for a while, just like me. He's young, so we're only
Yeah.
amateur right now. I told him don't be surprised if we maybe run it back again one day. So we'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I wonder. I think about that fight already. I wonder what adjustments he would make, what
Hmm.
adjustments you would make. I think with a little bit more seasoning on the both of you, that might be an even better fight down the line. But
Pick a
man,
good
that
one
one,
too. He'd make a
yeah,
good adjustment. He came in with a good game plan, man. Just try to take my legs. My legs were pretty sore after, not gonna lie. Probably the most sore they've been after any of my fights. So it was a good plan. Try to take out the legs. Try to put volume against. Try to match my volume, but
I
you
felt
know,
like he was trying. I felt like he was trying to corner you, and I felt like he was trying to
yeah,
walk you down too. I felt like
yeah,
he wasn't trying to back up.
yeah. It's just I fight at a different distance than most people could fight. I'm fighting at. They're fighting at my distance, yet they're trying to go around the ring and they're not. They can't go anywhere. But
Yeah,
they're not in range to hit me, so it's a
yeah.
hard style to go against.
Well, so he gets up after that knockdown, the first knockdown in the third round, and he comes at you again, and you guys are just, I mean, it's just war, war, war. It's
Hmm.
nonstop. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell are these guys going to keep up this pace? I mean, this is just absolutely crazy, right? And I noticed in the sequence leading up to the knockdown, you both look tired, but I feel like you're letting strikes go, and especially I feel like it's you throw a teep and then you throw like a jumping teep, and I feel like it's very labored. Like you seemed a bit tired at that
Yeah.
point, as did he, and so you do like a spinning back kick. He kind of is able to get around it and chop your leg, and then he comes after you. He comes walking forward, throwing a 1-2, and it looked to me like he reached to try to clinch you. And I think that was the mistake because your boxing shined through again. You backed up, you had that heavy right hand loaded up in the back, and you threw that uppercut up the middle.
Hmm.
Man, Jason, pitch perfect uppercut, man. The hairs on a boxing fan's neck stand up when they see that uppercut land. And the way the crowd reacted, you just heard, ooh, everybody just,
Yeah.
what kind of went through your mind? Was that an uppercut? Did you see that? I felt like you saw that uppercut earlier in the fight, but, tell me if I'm wrong. What kind of went through your mind during that sequence?
Yeah, that uppercut was like the punch of the fight, pretty much. I landed it a few times before that on him. Some of the similar ones, a step back uppercut. I could generate a lot of power going backwards, which is like really hard for people to do, and it's scary when you're trying to chase me down. And usually, people are wild when they're chasing down or they're doing the little zombie reach for the clinch, and then they just get caught.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's something that we landed a lot, especially at boxing. Shout out XFit Boxing, shout out Coach Luis and all his fighters. We were sparring a lot, and that was one I was throwing a lot, and having a lot of success with, kind of like going backwards. Was that right uppercut? And that's two uppercut knockouts in a row because I won another belt in June from the same one,
With an
same
uppercut.
uppercut, same uppercut. Yep,
Normally, I think with our fights, you were finishing people with that right
straight right.
cross
This
down
right
the
hand,
pipe.
man. That's like 5 knockouts or 6 knockouts with the right
Wow.
hand. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow. Wow. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big boxing fan. I saw you back up and unload that uppercut. And I said, oh my God, that was beautiful, and he went down, and let me tell you, he was trying to get up again. Had
Hmm.
he gotten
He
up,
did get up again.
yeah, he did, but they stopped the fight. But I mean, had he gotten up again, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that guy is made out of, but I don't know what the hell you're made out of either, man. You guys are just a couple of warriors, man. And I just had to tell you that was one of the most exciting, incredible fights I've seen in the Lions Den. I think in a maybe in a
Appreciate it,
very
man.
long time, man. Very
Thank
long
you.
time. I mean, what are your people telling you about it? What does your coach tell you about it? Your team, your family, everybody.
They're all saying the same thing. It was a war, made me dive deep. Do the same thing when he got up that third time. Even though he stopped, I was like, God damn, man. Like if he let him go and keep going, that thing would have turned into a damn steel chairs WWE no rules match right there. I don't know what the hell else I would could have done to get him out, but everyone's saying the same thing. That was a war. All my teammates are hyped. They all think De La Paz is a dog too, and pretty much just the same thing as us. They're hyped for it.
Right, right. We got Justin Granado in the building. He's saying De La Paz is a dog, but Gator is different. We've got Marianella Alvarez in here throwing up the Gator
What's up,
emojis. And we've
Nella?
got Bricks from Street Beef West Coast in here checking you out. You've made, I think, a lot of fans. And man, that's what I kind of want to talk about next. Before we get into that, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, join Knucklehead Nation. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Like this video. Join the channel. It's just $9.99 a month. You help me continue to support and build this fantastic platform for incredible rising stars like Jason Granado to compete on. And don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Jason Granado.
Yes, sir.
Man, Jason. So that's a perfect segue, I think, to talk about what has happened with you from a star power standpoint. You've been fighting for us for what, a year? I mean, it's only been a year,
Hmm.
maybe a year and change.
Yeah, little over a year.
Year and change, man. And you've done, and really, I hope by saying this, we teach. It's a teachable moment for a lot of these fighters and gyms and coaches and stuff. Me working with you, working with Cody, all we've done here is you've been consistent. You've been consistent in coming back to fight. You guys have put your trust in me as a promoter in getting you the right fights at the right time. And by getting you the right fights at the right time, I'm not giving you gifts here. I'm giving you fights that I think will help with your development and will help with your opponent's development, because it's the amateurs. I'm not really focused on, giving guys wins or losses. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think you got to give people the best fight available at the time.
It's
And you
true.
just happen to be one of these guys that just consistently comes back, trains his ass off, gets better, doesn't jump into fights right away carelessly, right, with
Mhm.
injuries and create a situation that you're going to get worse. But it's like you're going back to the drawing board every time. You're giving yourself just enough time to heal up, go back to the drawing
Mhm.
board, get better. And I noticed that in your defense in this fight. I felt like your defense has improved. Your head movement has improved. Everything about you has improved. And I kind of want to, give you props, but we got to give the whole community props. We got to give FightersRep props. We got to give Cody props. Man, that place was absolutely packed, and I felt like there was hundreds of people in there to watch Jason Gator Granado. Man, how does it feel to do something like that, to advance that fast as a personality on the scene in just a year and change?
It's crazy, man. I almost can't even describe it. Like when I was doing the April 30th show, I never even seen or been to a amateur event before. I didn't know like what anything was. So I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into that first Spiders Rep. And then to see where I've come now, doing like six in a row, six out of what, seven your guys' last shows I've been in. And every time it just got better, got more people following me. And yeah, I really feel honored to keep going back, and you give me good matchups every time. Like I'm not turning anybody down. I'm fighting anybody. So like you said, just it's a whole process, and there's a whole army behind this process, including Fighters Rep and George, and we know look what we're doing now.
Man,
Really.
again, it was deafening in there. I felt like there was hundreds of people in there screaming your name. Lost you for a second there. I felt like there was hundreds of people in there
Hmm.
screaming your name, and it's just impressive to watch, man. How it's come along. Excuse me, from just over a year until now, and I hope you're setting an example for the other young guys trying to come
Hmm.
up.
Oh
That
yeah.
if you're consistent, if you train hard, if you're moved correctly, meaning you're given the right fights at the right times, and you're going back to the drawing board and you're improving your skills and you're working hard, then it's only a matter of time before you become a star. And I feel like, man, I feel like you're on your way. I feel like you're on your way to becoming like a star in kickboxing and fight sports. Now, it's my understanding that you want to go to MMA next. So I just want to ask you. I know you're always going to be open to. I feel like you're always going to be open to kickboxing. And we're always going to be here
Oh yeah.
to promote you and do our best by you. But is that what you're looking at next? Are you trying to transition over to MMA? I mean, what's the long-term goal? What's the short-term goal? What does Gator want to do with himself?
I mean, the whole goal before I started was to just be the best fighter, you know, in the area, and then see what we could do from there. Maybe be the best fighter in the world, possibly, but trying to be the best fighter, period. And then,
Yeah.
as kickboxing started, I was just a boxer, and I would go in and spar, and I'd look at kickboxers and I'd spar them, and they'd beat the crap out of me, and I'm like, well, what's my boxing gonna do in a fight? So I go
Yeah.
to kickboxing, and then I tried MMA, just little stuff like that. So the goal's always been to go in MMA. I think MMA might be next. I just wanted to get striking fights out of the way before I go, in the cage, and I think I did pretty a little bit successful in the striking field, just a
Yeah.
little bit,
You
you
think?
know. But
I appreciate the
MMA.
humility, by the way. I do appreciate the humility. And that's the other thing I want to say. I appreciate your personality. I appreciate how professional you've always been. I've never had an issue with you making weight. I've never had an issue with you giving an attitude. Even when your opponent before this one, acted like a complete, goofball.
Yeah.
and you and was very disrespectful, to you and to myself. You kept your composure, and you've always been that way. So I just wanted to tell you I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. That's a learning a lot from the big guys, man. Just being around all these business folks and being around the big
And
dogs.
and training with the likes of Chito Vera, man. I mean, that's got to be a real, that's got to be a real good influence for you. That's got to be motivation.
Hell yeah, man. He's a beast. He's a cool dude, and that's definitely motivation. I kind of take after him a little bit.
So MMA is next.
MMA should be next. It's just uh, I know there's a lot of events over here in November. You guys are having another one in November. I don't know, man. I really want to get ready for MMA. I would have to get like something that would make me want to come get ready for another striking camp. Maybe like D'Lo Gianni. I know everybody wants to see that fight. So if maybe that fight on a huge stage, that would be a good one. I would come back for. But I'm not really rushing or super eager to try to get back in. I want to take my time and get grappling good. But MMA should be next. But don't don't be you guys will see me at Fighters Rep again. I'm still gonna be in the kickboxing, still in my home.
Right, right. But MMA is boring compared to kickboxing, right?
Yeah, I know sometimes it could be a little hard to watch, but hey, if I bring this style into the cage, man, that's the best thing right there.
For sure. I got to pick on the MMA
Yeah,
community,
yeah, I
man.
know
That's
you
what I
got.
do,
I
even
know
though they'll
you.
all beat me up, but that's what I do. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Listen, that sounds great, and that D'Angelo fight, I would love to make that fight. I think that's the only other big fight to make right now in that division.
Yeah,
Do you see yourself maybe moving up? I mean, or are you going to stick around at 135? I think that's the other issue there because he's a shorter guy. I think he's got more time at 135, but I feel like you are a long, gangly 135, brother. I don't know how
yeah.
long that body's going to hold at 135.
No, it's actually pretty easy to make 135.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's not really hard. I do like 140 though. And 145 because obviously making 135 isn't easy and it's not something you should be doing like every single month. You shouldn't be really weight cutting like all the times. Me, Cody, the whole team, we're pretty smart with that. We'll know how many times we need to be. We won't go past a certain amount of times cutting like a year or something. But 135, 140, even 145. That I'll probably stick around there.
Yeah.
And I'm still young. Like I barely turned 21. I'm still
Wow.
dancing out a little bit. I'm noticing myself dancing out a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe I might be a freaking heavyweight. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe at some point you end up as big
Yeah.
as me, man. Oh man. So let me ask you though, speaking of getting big, you said before we got on here, you're back to normal, you're eating. I mean, what was the first thing you ate? There had to be some sort of celebratory situation after a fight like that. What was the first thing you ate? And I hope you didn't pay for it because I hope
No,
people
no,
are
no,
buying
no.
you dinner with a fight like that.
Yeah, yeah, no. We just had some in and out, man. We
Oh, okay.
just yeah,
Okay.
just got it, came back, watched some more fights and I really wanted to just watch the fights. Even after the fights, I'm not really caring about like, oh, what am I gonna eat? I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like, hey, Evan Bolton's fighting right now, or hey, we got the main event. If you like, dude, I love fights. I love watching fights, especially you get to go there and see those ones live. I'm usually looking for those rather than a burger. But I did stuff my face with some In and Out, double
I like to
double,
hear that.
animal
I like to
style.
hear that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. And what did you think about the fights? I mean, you were there. What did you think about the card as a whole?
That whole card was crazy, man. The first fight of the night, my boy Edgar Fraga from Classic Fight
That
Team.
shit was wild, man.
That kid's a monster, bro. I sparred him a couple times before over there at Classic, and I knew he was a beast. He's a big kid, and you saw his corner, man. That's a dangerous ass corner he was walking out with, and you know that was a good fight. That kid Alex, he had a good moment in there. He cracked,
Yeah, he
landed a
did.
bomb. It was like a Gator fight. The
Yeah,
one
he
those
did.
crazy one rounders and Hasarov and Ludwig. That was a crazy back and forth fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pacheco Smith. Yeah, they were all good, man. And it was cool because there was like only the last fight of the night was the only one with gear,
yeah.
dude. From a fans, like that's big, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On the post limbs, we had Cianes versus Rincon. They were wearing gear. They
And it was still a
stepped in
banger.
late. They wanted to compete. We had room for a couple other fights, and we were like, yeah, jump in because I want to get these guys. If they're not ready to take the gear off, you know how it is. You got to have at least 3 fights before
Yeah.
you can take the gear off. I like
Hmm.
to put them in a position where I can at least get them the experience to be
Yeah.
able to do that sooner than later. And look at this card. I mean, if you look at this card, like I want to say the majority or a lot of the kids on this card had gear with us and lost their gear with us.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, you had Zoller on there, you had yourself on there, you have Ludwig on there, you have Khosrov on there. All these guys,
Anders.
yeah, all these guys like started with us and they used to wear gear and Ian Holloway, and so all these guys eventually, their gear went the way of the dinosaur. I wanted to ask you too about your team, man. You guys had the clean sweep, dude. You guys had a hat trick, man, which is not easy to do at Fighters Rep. And we've got Clarence Watson in here, says real warrior right here.
CJ.
Shout out to Squirrel Muay Thai. He won, you won, and Nathan Hawthorne won, man. I mean, really impressive. Kind of tell me, how the team's feeling after a night like that.
It was for sure a successful business trip for the squad. We kind of knew we weren't really surprised. We knew what we were going in there to do, and we got the job done. Nathan went in there and he handled it. I think he got 30-27s across the board. I think, right? God, I can't remember, but
Man, yeah, he did well.
yeah, smoked him a little bit. CJ went in there, handled business, and then I got to put the cherry on top with the title fight and the finish. And another day in the office. We just went 2-0 at like a couple events ago, and then we're going again at it this next weekend. So
Yeah, yeah.
successful business trip.
And they had tough opponents too, man. I mean, Nathan fought Ian, who was definitely hungry to get
Hmm.
back, and then
Oh
and then
yeah,
you had CJ fight Derek, man. Those first couple rounds were very good rounds. And then CJ just kind of started to set himself apart, I think, in that third round or in the second half of the
yeah,
fight. But Derek is a very tough kid too. I'm excited to have all these guys back, to be honest with you. And I just had to point that out because Squirrel Muay Thai, man, you guys are really X-Fit team. You guys are really putting your name out there, man. You guys are doing
yeah.
a great job. Speaking of which, Jason, is there anyone you want to thank? Is there anyone you want to shout out? Is there anything you want to share about the experience that you didn't get a chance to?
First, just shout out everybody in the chat, man. Shout out Caesar. Shout out Joe Claycomb. Shout out Nala. Shout out CJ. Shout out my little brother. But yeah, shout out Squirrel Muay Thai. Shout out my boy Ryu. Good luck this weekend, man. Shout out all the guys at Ruka, Jason Perillo, Chito Vera. They're all kind of training right now. They're gonna be having a huge fight coming up in a few months, and shout out Coach Cody Sessions. Shout out the fam. You know, I always forget who to shout out every time I get asked that damn question, and
It's
I'm
all
always
good,
thinking about
man.
it
It's
too.
all good. It's all good. It's all
They all
good.
know who they are.
And was there anything, about the fight or about the whole experience that, you wanted to share that we didn't get over that, something you want to
Mm,
share with Knucklehead Nation?
also, kind of just shout out Isaac and shout out his family. I think I saw his mom. She came to talk to me after, and I saw a couple of his teammates or family members, but all good people. They're all in good spirits still. So shout out Isaac. Shout out his team. Yes, I did throw up after the fight. That was true. It's not the first time I've thrown up. You guys try to go through a freaking
Is that
war
a
like that,
is,
and
is that a thing for you? Is it because of the
yeah.
weight cut? Is it because of the fight? What is that?
Just
Is it
sometimes
just
when I dig, you got to dig deep a little bit. That adrenaline and everything,
I
it all
see.
comes up, and like what was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. The adrenaline, everything. I drank some it was some disgusting like beet type of smoothie juice or something.
Oh,
It was like a red one. Drank that on the way there, and I threw that up, so it
yeah.
looked like blood. And the CSAT guy was freaking out. He was like, "Is he okay?
Oh,
Is he
jeez.
okay?" And I'm like, dude, I do this after every time. Don't worry.
Yeah, we
But
definitely
yeah,
don't, we definitely don't want them getting too concerned. They'll jump in and start messing things
Yeah,
up.
for
You know
real.
what I mean?
Yeah, and then just one more thanks. Thanks to you, George. Thank you for making all this possible, man. Thank you for always having me on every event and taking care of me, doing stuff like this after. I put on some crazy fights for some shows, and after they just never see him again. But you get on the recap, you get on all that. So I just wanted to make sure I thank you for that one.
Yeah, man. Listen, we're gonna keep on pushing you guys. I'm gonna keep on pushing you so that at some point, either this brand is making so much money that I can make you a millionaire, or you're gonna go be a millionaire somewhere else doing this. That's the goal for me. So,
Yeah,
just
we'll
like
sit
you
down and
said,
have. What was that?
I want to be the best in the world. I kind of
Hmm.
want the same thing. So I
Yes,
appreciate what
sir.
you're doing, man, and the hard work. Trust me, it's on both sides. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right,
And
man.
listen to this. No, I listen. I gotta say something about this. Okay, Justin Granado just commented. Gator has to be on the poster of Fighters Rep 20,
That's
right?
facts, man.
This is amazing. This is amazing, right? Because tickets for Fighters Rep 20, and we didn't even plan this. This is all off the top of the dome right here. This whole topic. Tickets for Fighters Rep 20 go on sale September 17th, right? That's in 4 days. That's Sunday. They go on sale, and Fighters Rep 20 is November 18th. And nobody's seen it yet. But here's the Fighters Rep
Let's
20 poster.
go.
So
Let's
Justin
go.
Granado, your wish is my command,
Happy
brother. You didn't
birthday,
even
bud.
tell me that's not a beauty, though, Jason. Look how
Dude,
beautiful
that's
that is,
sick,
brother.
bro. I'm gonna need like 10 copies of that, man, when you
I
send it.
got you, man. I got you. I got you. So it's amazing, how people you put stuff out there. Hey, you said you want to be the best fighter. I want to be the best promoter. Gator should be on the poster. It's all happening, brother.
It all
Hey,
works out,
Justin
baby. Let's go.
Granado. But anyway,
Let's
Jason,
go.
listen, man, I really appreciate your time. Um, I was so honored to promote you and to promote Isaac. I'm so proud of the both of you guys, man. You guys went out there, and I think you guys gave people a fight that they'll never forget, man. I don't think anybody will ever forget that fight. That fight was great. And you know, you just do a great job, and you just keep doing what you're doing. And any way we can help you over here at Fighters Rep and at Knucklehead Nation, let me know. And here's what I'll say: if you guys drop a super chat in this chat, or if you drop a super thanks after watching this, any money you drop, I'm giving half to the Gator. Any
Come
money
on,
you
guys.
drop in here, so if you're feeling generous, if you own a business, whatever it is, look out for this kid, sponsor this kid. You could sponsor us as well. Follow us on Fighters Rep and DM us to know how to do that. Follow him at Jason Granado, DM him to know how to do that. But from here on out, any super chats, if there's a fighter being interviewed like Jason, any super thanks after the fact, I'm going to give these fighters half.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason, with that, man, I've taken up enough of your time, man. I appreciate your time. Say hi to the family for me. Say hi to the team for me. We'll be in touch soon, brother. I'm gonna try to get you back in November. I know you want to do MMA, but I'm gonna try my best.
All right, man. All right. Hey, thank you, man. I had a blast on Saturday night fighting for you, and I had a blast doing this, man. Appreciate it.
For sure. Have a good one, man. Thank you
You
guys for
too.
joining us. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.